Kevin McCullough.
Welcome back. Kevin McCullough from Times Square, and very glad to have you with us as we are making our way through the weekend, a Mother's Day weekend. And I do want to say to the moms who are watching, we are thinking of you tonight. Mother's Day is a difficult day in the McCullough household. Both my bride and myself lost our mothers at very young ages, and we, as a result, do not have grandmothers to celebrate Mother's Day with our children with. So we try to make it an extra special day. I try to make it an extra special day for the little ones and for my bride. But even at that, there is still a sense that this day is not what it could be. And that might be you tonight. And if so, just know that my prayers and thoughts are with you. There may be a cross-section of women watching tonight or listening as well that perhaps are not mothers but would like to be. And there is a pain in your heart because of that, what God has deemed not possible at this point in time. There are also other mothers that I am thinking about tonight. I am thinking about the mothers of children who were lost in Israel on October 7th. And I'm thinking of the mothers that are held in captivity even now by the terrorist thugs who would do all that they could to destroy these lives. And maybe they have. Some of the mothers held, by the way, in Gaza are American hostages that we have still not brought home because our president lacks the moral fortitude and the courage to do what is right. He's not even allowing the Israelis the power that they need to have the most precise ability to stop this terrorism from going forward. It's a really troubling night for mothers across the country when you think about the fact that mothers in many, many states are struggling with school districts who will this year continue to force a woke agenda upon their children against their will. There is a mother that is part of the young women's, the Independent Women's Forum documentary series whose child was taken from her. The state deemed the child not worthy to stay with her mother because the mother insisted upon being scientifically accurate with her child and calling her a daughter when that is in fact what her sex and her identity, her DNA and her genome says that she is. We played for you at the beginning of hour one tonight a mom who was very, very upset, who is screaming at the top of her lungs almost that children who want to identify as anything but children should have the right to attend the doctor of their choice. In her son's case, she was demanding that the child be allowed to be treated like a cat because her son wants to be a cat. And she was dismayed and disappointed that the veterinarian would not treat her son. Friends, the lack of reality in the discussion of what motherhood is in this world and in this society right now is really at an all-time high. The confusion and the pain that confusion brings with it is something that we're going to have to address as a culture and a society going forward. There is also one other group of mothers that I am thinking about tonight, and that is the mothers who have been mothers, but they have been enslaved in slavery in Sudan for the last 15 to 25 years. These were girls who were taken when they were very small in the Sudanese Civil War. They were trafficked to the north, and after their slave master had had their way with them, sometimes some of them had become pregnant and even had children. They had had those children, by the way, ripped away from them in many instances because the slave master did not want the child developing affections for the mom. The slave master wanted the child for himself, with no mother allowed to touch that child's life. Here's the real truth of it, though. Tonight, because of you, because of your faithfulness, because of those of you who have been moved to do so, there have been 64 moms who have been able to return home, women who have been able to be freed from slavery, who have been able to return to their home in South Sudan, a Christian country where they can celebrate their Christian faith without fear of the Arab Muslim masters beating them for it. And because of your faithfulness, because of our joint efforts together, we have seen that nearly 4,500 of these women have been freed in the last 10 years. I can't say thank you enough. I can't dig deep enough to express what that really means to me. But to know that there's 4,500 women today, this weekend, who will have motherhood to celebrate in a free life because of your generosity has meant the world to me over these last 10 years. Now, those 64 are just some of the 208 that we are trying to help. Just in the spring campaign, we're trying to help 104 of those slaves be freed. So we're about 40 from reaching our goal for the beginning of July. We need that to take place because there is a liberation slated for this spring that if we speak for the slaves that are on the list, then we can free them all and start their new lives. Now, once they're liberated, they get to return to their home in South Sudan, but they don't return empty-handed. Though while in slavery, the only thing they may have had to call their own was their very body and maybe some of the clothing that they wore. When they leave the CSI recovery camp after being tended to by doctors and counselors and other things, they will receive a life-changing gift. They will have enough food for the following year to eat. They will have enough seed to plant grain for the coming year's worth of food. They will have tarps to help protect from the weather. They will have blankets and other things to help keep them comfortable and be able to sleep well. They'll have utensils to garden and cook and fish and clean with, all of which are very important. And friends, this is called a bag of hope. It's really several bags worth of different goods and different things. And it is the most impressive and meaningful gift they will have ever received in their entire lives. And because of your faithfulness, 64 of those 104 for the spring, 208 for the year, 64 of them have been spoken for. But that means that there's another 40 that we would like to see cared for before we call the spring campaign to a close. It costs $250 to get that bag of hope, which includes all the stuff I just mentioned and one other item. It costs $250 to get that set aside for that slave that will be released. That other item, by the way, is a little she-goat that they can have baby goats with, and in doing so, support themselves in their days to come financially. As I said, it's the most generous gift they'll ever be given. 888-342-1010. Would you help us tonight? 888-342-1010.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.